Welcome back to the Mind Your English podcast. My name's Chris.
And my name's James.
We speak slow, we keep it real. Two native speakers, clear, natural British English. How are you, James?
I'm not bad. I'm enjoying this colder weather. It's much nicer. I'm more comfortable. How are you?
I'm boiling. I don't know whereabouts are you? What side of Barcelona are you on? I'm absolutely boiling here.
We must be in different wind tunnel areas or something. I don't know.
You've got like a microclimate.
I don't know. I think where you are, it's much warmer because the heat stays there. Whereas here, it's really close to the sea. So the breeze comes through.
Well, today we're going to be talking about university. So tell me, how much pasta did you live on at university?
It was a disaster at university. I mean, I didn't know how to cook at all. And so I remember I bought packets of rice, not knowing how to cook rice, and packets of like already done chicken. Okay. And I would eat that with curry sauce.
That sounds very student-like, very basic. But yeah, I think it was the same. I think I was basically literally just pasta or carbs. Actually, the other thing, I worked at Pizza Hut during university. So I would basically just sort of make a pizza and bring it home with me. I was quite fat at the time. And also I would sort of steal ingredients. So like I would get like a sandwich bag, like a mini plastic bag. And then towards the end of my shift, I would go to the kitchen and then just fill it with like random vegetables or random meat, like, pepperoni or chicken, bits of chicken, and basically take it home and like kind of make some sort of concoction. Again,
what a
pasta,
great way to save money.
I did save a lot of money, yeah, but again, it wasn't very healthy. It was the least healthy diet you could have.
Well, I had the same thing. I didn't work at Pizza Hut, but I remember did you have a spa on your university campus?
Oh, was it a spa? It was definitely something very, very similar. Like it was a little corner shop.
Like Londis or something.
Yeah, well, I think it was a Londis, actually. It was a Londis. Yeah.
It's funny because in Spain we have Condis. So when I saw it, I thought it's like the fake Londis.
That's true.
But yeah, we had a spa and I used to buy the cheap pizzas from there. They were in a box and I think they were like £2.50 for one. So I would just have one of those every single day for an extra 1,000 calories.
Bloody hell. Bloody hell. The life we lived.
Yeah. Well, you have no idea what you're doing. You're only 18 and you're already... Did you go away for university or did you stay where you were?
No, I literally went as far as I could go. Well, not as far as I could go, but I decided that if I was going to university, that I would go somewhere far away from where I grew up. Because a lot of people either went to Bristol or to London. So it was quite easy to get home at weekends or, those kind of Easter break or Christmas break. So I thought, no, I want to be as far as possible, something completely new. So I went to Manchester.
That's not that far. You could have gone to Aberdeen University,
It wasn't the furthest, yeah. But in my head, it was. I think it took me about 4 hours to get home on the train, and it was quite expensive as well. It wasn't an easy connection. It was something like, I had to stop 3 times or sometimes just twice, but it was a little bit of a tricky route home. But tell us a little bit about your university and where did you study? What did you do?
I went to University of Birmingham, so I had the same problem as you. It wasn't quite as far away. It was maybe just shy of 3 hours on the train. But yeah, we had to change. And I studied, it was a huge mess, to be honest. I studied chemistry at the beginning, but only for a week, and decided that I wanted to do physics instead. So I changed, but I had to do an engineering foundation year because I hadn't studied maths the year before in sixth form in college. So yeah, that was what it was like.
Why did you suddenly have that epiphany?
I always wanted to do physics when I was in high school or in college, but because when you're 16 in the UK, you have to choose what subjects you want to do, and I didn't choose maths because I thought, well, why would I need maths if I'm not going to study maths? even though you need it for physics. No one told me. No one said you need this for future studies. So that's why I had to do it. And chemistry was like a fallback option. And I didn't want to do it really. So I just changed. I said, well, I want to do what I want to do. So let's do it.
It's a pretty big change though. I mean, I don't know. Normally people kind of drop out, right? And then they go the next year, the following year. But was it quite tricky to change subjects?
Well, I think it wasn't tricky. All I had to do was go to the right department and say, yes, I definitely want to change, sign something, and then they changed it. Because the price is the same, the cost, like the amount of time, well, it was 1 year extra, but then it doesn't matter. And it was easy, but looking back, I wish I had left for 1 year and then gone back. But it's because I was excited to stay there and I'd made the change. So I wanted to stay.
I actually delayed 1 year. So I stayed in my hometown and worked in Pizza Hut. So between college, I delayed 1 year and I worked in Pizza Hut full time and just sort of saved money, did a bit of traveling as well. So I found it to be really beneficial because when I did go to university, I was, what was I? I think I'm going to say 20 or something maybe. And I did feel a little bit more ready, let's say, than people around me who were, 18 and they were still a little bit immature. I know it's a process, right? You go to university and you mature. Well, I think it's kind of a thing that British people do anyway. They go to university to become an adult more than studying.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is definitely part of adult life now. Though, well, I want to talk about what you studied first before I say my opinions about university. What did you study?
I studied reading books. So
was it literature?
I just did literature, yeah. So it was amazing, really, because when I think about it, I just literally they gave you a book per week, which is quite a lot, to be honest. But then you could kind of skim it or look for the key points, and also you didn't have to talk about every book. You kind of had to narrow down after each semester. So after 3 months, you had an essay to do or an assignment to submit, and you kind of would narrow down the books. You didn't have to talk about all of them. So for me, it was great. I remember one semester in particular, I did like psychoanalysis and film and literature in one. So it was kind of looking at character development and stuff. So really, really cool. Another one that was really cool was looking at the differences between British authors and American authors or literature. So that was really cool. So analyzing different topics and why people talk about them. So for me, it was just really fun. Was it beneficial? Don't know. But yeah, it was really fun. I think I found it quite difficult living in Manchester more than my actual degree, to be honest.
Why so? Well, I mean, it's difficult to live in Manchester in general. I have to say that as someone from Leeds, but yeah.
Yeah, well, first I got to Manchester and everyone I met was from Manchester, which I thought would be great, but they all wanted to go out and party in Leeds, for example. So it didn't really make any sense. It was like, oh, let's go on the weekend to Leeds. And I was like, no, I just got here. I want to, I don't care about Leeds.
You missed out on the coolest city.
So
Not really.
I did go eventually. I think it was my first experience in the UK, and I had done a lot of traveling before that. Just like on the weekends, I would take the train to random cities and go around the UK. But this was my first time when I felt like an alien in my own country. I felt like
really.
Yeah, I remember specifically we did like a speed dating thing on the first day of my course, like to meet everyone, right? We had like 5 or 10 minutes with each person. And some of the phrases people were using, I remember one guy sort of saying what to do. And we had this sort of like misunderstanding for about 3 or 4 minutes. Like I was like, what to do? What am I doing? And he's like, no, what to do? I can't do the accent.
What to do?
It basically just meant like, what's wrong? He thought that I had like a bit of a sour face. I probably was a bit nervous. He was trying to ask me like, what's wrong? And also I had a girlfriend later on during my studies from Manchester. And I just remember like her, being around her family. They were very nice, but there was definitely a cultural difference between how they would talk to each other and how I would talk with my family or my friends. And I just felt like I understood everything to some degree, but there's definitely there was a gap between myself and people from Manchester.
Yeah, it sounds like your first experience of the north-south divide and how deep it really goes.
Yeah,
in a way.
I think I've been to other cities after that, and I've found it a little bit easy. Like Liverpool, I never really had an issue. Not that I lived there, but traveling, or Newcastle. But yeah, Manchester, I just felt they're very proud of their city, and they're very cliquey. I would say they're very sort of insular.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because for me, they're very similar to Leeds, but also very different. You know when people are so similar that you notice the differences and they seem much bigger? So to me, they feel like maybe I've never got the idea that they're insular, but they're a bit weird. I don't know how to describe it. Huh?
They're all losers.
They're all... They all wish they could be from Leeds, but they're not.
Yeah, they all want to be in Oasis.
Exactly. Well, that is some source of pride for them, and it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It was cool. I mean, I think it's a cool city. I like it's very... if you're from a different country and you want a true sense of a typical city, I think is a great one to go to because there's nothing really to visit. It's not on the tourist map per se, but they have a great music scene. The food is really good there in terms of like a lot of variety, a lot of cool places to visit, but it's a very sort of standard city at the same time. So...
I mean, I think it's a good way, like you say, to sink into British culture and really understand what England is about. Because if you go to London, yeah, it's a tourist hotspot. It's designed for people to visit and come and see. Manchester, it just exists. So if you go there, you're baking in the atmosphere. Yeah, there's nothing to go see, really, but you can see how we live and what it's like there. So you probably got that at university as well. Yeah. Even though it's the same country as where you came from.
Yeah, I think, if you compare to Liverpool, which is 20 minutes down the road, very close to Manchester, there's more things to see in Liverpool in terms of the Beatles stuff. There's a port, or, you have the coast.
The waterfront, yeah.
What else is there? It seems like there's more stuff to visit if you go there. Whereas Manchester, it's just pure living. You just have to really embrace the culture in terms of go to the pub, listen to music, I know, go to some of the nice parks there, but there's nothing really to sort of to see as a tourist. Yeah,
that's true. Although you do have the countryside very close. You just have to take a bus or a train and then you're in the middle of trees and forests and fields, the moorland, the Pennines.
Yeah, that is true. Well, going back to the topic about... Well, the main question today to get onto university is university worth the money, or is it worth it in general, or is it overrated, would you say?
I think I'm going to give the worst answer in the world and say it depends on you, because for me, it was a balance. Part of it was worth it because for the first time, I was on my own in the world, having to learn how to be an adult, meeting new people. I mean, in a city that I'd never been to before, Birmingham. Understanding social dynamics and things. Understanding even your place in the British class system was wild for me.
How so?
Down in Birmingham. Well, because I was the only northerner. There was one or two more that I ever met, but most people were from places like Surrey, and they were usually from quite well-to-do families. And it was like there was a joke that Birmingham was the rejects university for Oxford and Cambridge, just like Durham is.
Really?
So,
I don't know that. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what they said. So there were lots of people who they could go skiing over this winter, and they could go to like Mallorca over the summer, and I couldn't do that.
Where did you went to Butlins or something?
Yeah, not even Butlins. Yeah, we went to Liverpool on our holidays. Nah, It's not like we were dirt poor or anything. It's just because it's more about the class thing and growing up in the north. So part of that was interesting, without going into too much detail. And I never finished my degree anyway. I failed and dropped out.
Oh, I didn't. Did you tell me this? I didn't.
I think so. I think we might have talked about it briefly.
Should listen more. It's very hard when you talk sometimes.
I forgot you went to Manchester as well. So.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think that it's a hard one. When I look at it, when I look at the bigger picture in terms of university, I think it's probably the time when I learnt less about a subject. You know, in terms of going into detail and to take the knowledge with me into my future, because it was just too spread out. I feel like it could have been a year. 3 years was too long. You know, there was a lot of, like, I did 15 hours per week and I had so much time free.
It's like, what do you do? You know, especially if you're not earning money, or even if you're working a part-time job, the only thing left to do is drink and party, because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, I was just like hanging out most of the time, you know, like, going. I had a bicycle, so I would just sort of cycle around with friends, go around the city again, drink, go to the pub, you know, go to the cheapest pub there is, and you know, the student union was the bar. Is it student union, right?
Student union, yeah, we had one as well.
It's like £1 a beer or something, the worst beer, but
it's cheap.
It's cheap. Yeah, I don't know. It felt like I was either just working really, and then I had assignments around work or hanging out. It wasn't something that was really intense. And when I compare that to my teaching degree after, or my teaching diploma after, I learned so much in that, and it was only like 2 months long. And
same.
Just kind of, it was so intense. I don't know. I have, you know, I remember everything from that course compared to university.
You mean the CELTA, right?
The CELTA, yeah, exactly.
Same. One month of intense waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to wake up at 6, go to the gym, go to the centre, learn, do assignments all night. Like, the only time you have free is to eat. And yeah, you're right. In 1 month, you learn more than you learned in years at university.
I think because it was just like you had. In the morning, you learnt about some kind of grammar that you learnt about the rules and how you could teach it, and then the next day they were like, okay, in the afternoon you'll have a class and you have to go home now and prepare for that. So it was just constantly like back to back. Okay, grammar, study it. How can I teach it? What games can I do? Class. Okay, next point. Boom. I think
I'd rather it be like that, like 1 month of super intensive study and then maybe a week or two off to relax, and then back on it. I think that way you could sprint so much knowledge instead of university. I think it's a bit of a money-making machine.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean,
3 years.
How much was your degree?
It was £9,000 a year.
So yours, I think yours was after mine then. So I was the last year before the prices tripled. So
they tripled? What were yours?
I think mine was 3,000 a year.
We probably should explain how it works, because I didn't pay 9,000, and you didn't either. You got a student loan, right?
I got a loan and a grant as well.
Me too. Well, let's explain the way it works. If you want to, you can.
No, you go for it.
All right. Well, the way that university works is in the UK, you apply for university. It costs 9,000, or when I went to university, it cost £9,000 a year for a British person. If you were from somewhere else, an international student, it was more. But there was a company called the Student Loan Company, and they give you the money. You never see the money. It just goes to university. It's counted as debt. And then after you graduate, even if you fail your degree, above a certain amount of money that you earn per year, you pay a percentage of that, which is to pay back your student loan. And that's how they get the money back. But it still sounds absurd. £9,000 a year.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying about this topic in terms of, is it worth it? If I were to delay another year and go to university when the prices had tripled, I wouldn't have gone. I would have found another way to study. You know, I think now there are more apprenticeships where you work for a company and they pay you to go to university, but then you have to guarantee that you'll stay in that company for X number of years. I would have gone down that route, I would imagine.
I think it's better. I also did an apprenticeship, and I think I learned more. I didn't go to university because of it, but I think, yeah, university, unless you're a doctor or an engineer, you're not really learning that much that you're going to use in real life. And I think it's just maybe a break from working. And if we want to create a good workforce, then I don't know. I don't think a degree is necessary for everybody. I think on-the-job training is better. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, in terms of, I literally only went to university, again, for the experience, maybe a little bit of FOMO, because all my friends were doing that as well. So I was like, okay, I'll do the same.
I also want to go.
And I needed the piece of paper. I needed a certificate to continue what I really wanted to do, which was to teach and travel. But I couldn't do the CELTA without the degree. So it was like, I had no option. If they said, okay, do a diploma or something else, a course, and then you could do the CELTA, I would have done that. But because I was itching to travel. In the third year, I was literally scratching at the walls, like
get me out of here. I want to get out of Manchester.
Because I used to travel every summer anyway, so I would, like, when the summer started, because it was quite a long, like 3 months, wasn't it? Like you finished June and you went back in September, and I would just literally save up as much as I could and then go around Europe, buying
and plan,
backpacking. So it was dirt cheap, but so I kind of had that bug anyway, and then it was like, oh god. I was already a year behind, so my friends were starting to travel because they had finished university, and I could see them in Australia or doing whatever, and I was thinking, I'm stuck in this pissing rain in Manchester, so I was kind of a bit fed up, really. Would you say there's anything anything valuable that you took from it before you dropped out?
Yeah, there was. I really enjoyed my time with the people I met there, so it wasn't all bad. I was really interested in languages, and my love for them really exploded. And so I joined a few language societies and became really involved in the Polish society because I was learning Polish back then. I got to around B2 level, maybe just below B2. And yeah, I wanted to be involved, and the people there were really accepting, and it was really nice. I met a few friends doing some skateboarding and other sports.
Oh, really?
The gym was fun. I really liked the university gym because everybody talked to each other, and so you made friends that way. Apart from that, the buildings were nice. That's about it.
In Birmingham?
In the university, yeah, it was nice. The buildings there, because it's not in Birmingham, it's in a village called Edgbaston, so it's like a really nice place to live, full of trees, and the uni is nice. It's not in the city centre.
I think if I think about what I would do differently if I could, I probably would go to Bristol now, or a city closer to where I grew up, because I think there were times when I needed to go home, when it was getting a little bit on top, a bit too much. And I think there was times when I needed to go home, I couldn't because it cost so much money or it took too much time. And I think I probably would, if I could do it again, I'll go to Bristol probably.
I think I would have just straight up gone to Leeds University and stayed at home. I think it would have been much better. You could save money. You're not paying for cooking. You can ask your mum or your dad or your grandma to teach you how to cook. But looking back, it's always obvious in hindsight, isn't it? But you have to learn the lesson first.
What do you think about other cultures where this is not common to study in another city? I think it's only the UK, really, maybe the USA to some degree. It's more common from my experience, like in Japan, Peru, etc. Maybe also Spain. You study in the city where you're from because you still live at home. What do you think about that? Is there any benefits to that, or do you think it's a bit...
I think there are benefits. I think there's benefits to both sides. So if you're going to leave to study at 18, I think you should stay in your house, because again, if you don't know how to cook, if you don't know how to clean, it's not something you can just learn in a week. It's something you have to really internalize. So I think if you're going to leave at 18, just stay in your house. But if you give yourself time between finishing high school, you work a little bit, travel a little bit, then yeah, you can do it because you've probably learned to be an adult. Bless you. Yeah, you've probably learned to be an adult at that point. And so, yeah, it's the good part of it is you get to know another city. You get to decide whether you like it or not. You make your own opinions. You're not so influenced by your parents anymore, and you can make your own decisions. What do you think, Chris? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's quite cool that they do that because you do have the opportunity to solely focus on your studies. Like, say, in my case, I was thinking about, okay, I need to make some money to pay for my rent and also to buy groceries, etc. And also cook dinner or whatever. You have to allocate that time for those things. Whereas if you live with your family, you can just go home and literally study. And, it's a weight off your shoulders. So I think when I have seen students of mine who were studying English in Peru, for example, and they would tell me about their lifestyle at home, it did seem a little bit more convenient for studying at university because it's intense, right? Not my degree, but some degrees can be.
Some degrees can be like medicine.
Well, I mean, maybe mine wasn't intense because I enjoyed it, but there was a lot of material to get through, so that did take some time, and then it put pressure on social time that I had or work commitments I had. So yeah, that's the thing. It's not only learning your subject, but also all the things that come with being a person, like laundry, washing your dishes, cooking for yourself. And it's not easy. It's not like it just takes 10 minutes. No, it takes a lot longer than that. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There are benefits to living at home with your parents, if they can stand you, if they can keep you. All right, and that just about wraps up our chat about university. So it's time for Idiom of the Week. Chris, take it away.
Oof, you're going to like this one. It's nice and negative, like our conversation today about university. It is to throw your money down the drain, right?
To throw your money down the drain.
Which means to waste money on something not worth it. You're just wasting money. So, for example, the example I have here, some people feel like paying huge tuition fees is just throwing money down the drain. I would say 9,000 per year is throwing money down the drain.
100%, yes. UK government, if you're watching our podcast, disgraceful. Yeah. 9,000 a year is ridiculous. Change it. I said so.
That's why I'm in Spain. I'm running away from my debt. I'm never going to pay it, okay? You're never going to
They'll
get
never find us. I'm doing the same thing. Honestly, every time, I think every 6 months, they're calling me like, hey, have you changed your job? You need to tell us.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, nope. I'm still not earning that much money. Go away, leave me alone.
I'm still living in the forest in Spain. I don't make any money at all. I live off the land.
I'm a vagabond. There is no money anymore.
All right, that's everything for this week's podcast about university and if it's worth it or not. Let us know in the comments if you think it is worth it or not. And thank you, James.
And thank you, Chris. It's been nice to talk to you.
And thanks for listening.